Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from across the world, because I know we have different partners and friends and colleagues that join us from across the globe. So thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the September edition of the GSU Malaria General Club Monthly Series for 2025. Today's webinar is a vector-focused one referencing Dr. Messi Kouamou's recent preprint titled Allelic Variation in a Cluster of Epsilon Glutathione S-transferase genes Contributes to DDT as well as pyrethroid resistance in the major African malaria vector Anopheles funestus. My name is Paolo Chauke, for those of you that do not know me, and I'm a training coordinator at the Genomic Surveillance Unit, working with a team of awesome people, some of whom are in the room to organize these monthly events. Just a few ground rules. The General Club is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel later today on the Malaria Gen YouTube channel. So please do check it out. And you can share with your friends and colleagues, but also rewatch today's webinar to also learn more from Dr. Kouamou. We will have a Q&A at the end. So please type your questions in the Q&A box or raise your hand and we'll allow you to speak. Kindly stay on mute so you don't disturb our speaker. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker for today, who gladly agreed to give this presentation while she was traveling, Dr. Messi Kouamou, as you can see on the screen. Just a short bio to introduce to who Dr. Kouamou is. Dr. Messi Kouamou is a dedicated Cameroonian biochemist as well as molecular entomologist whose work is helping shape the fight against malaria. Since joining the Center for Research in Infectious Diseases, or CRID for short, in 2018, she has focused on unraveling the mechanisms of insecticide resistance in Anopheles mosquitoes. Her PhD was obtained in November 2022 under the supervision of Professor Charles Wonji, as well as Prof. Fabrice Thakam, involved in the functional validation of the role of glutathione S-transferase epsilon, or GSTE for short, gene family insecticide resistance in Anopheles funestus. Messi, thank you so much for joining us. You may begin your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much to give me the floor. Hello, everyone. I will begin by expressing my gratitude to the Malaria Gene team for this opportunity to share my work. As you just introduced me, I will just keep this part. I will present today a part of the recent published paper that we published in BMC Genomic in the title Allelic Variation in a Cluster of Epsilon Glutathione S-transferase gene Contribute to DDT and pyrethroid resistance in major African malaria vector Anopheles funestus. As we all know, malaria is the most important vector-borne disease, causing more than 400,000 deaths a year. To reduce the burden of malaria, vector control intervention, particularly the use of long-lasting insecticide and the implementation of indoor residual spraying, led to a significant reduction of malaria incidence between 2000 and 2025. However, according to the recent WHO report, there has been a sudden increase in malaria cases over the past 2 years. This resurgence of the disease is mainly due to the fact that mosquitoes, in order to survive to insecticide pressure, have developed several forms of resistant mechanism. Among these, the most important are target site resistance and metabolic resistance. As far as the metabolic resistance is concerned, it is characterized by the overexpression of the detoxification enzyme, of which the main class are the cytochrome P450, the glutathione S-transferase, and the esterase. But the exact mechanism through which this gene family confer resistance remain unclear in most of the cases. In the case of the GST, in a species like Funestus, progress made have focused on GST2 gene, detecting the key resistant marker now commonly used for monitor resistance in the field. However, RNA-seq and microarray studies have shown that most genes of the GST epsilon family are overexpressed in resistant mosquitoes across Africa. This epsilon cluster have 8 genes from GST1 to GST8, but until now, just the GST2 was characterized. The role of this gene in conferring pyrethroid resistance remains unclear. Understanding the molecular and the structural basis through which GST epsilon confers insecticide resistance is essential for vector control. To address this gap in our knowledge, we decided to elucidate genetic factors driving the upregulation of the GST cluster gene and the role of the GST to insecticide resistance in major malaria vector Anopheles funestus using functional characterization. More specifically, it was about investigate the expression profile of the GST gene in Anopheles funestus across Africa and identify allelic variants potentially associated with insecticide resistance. Perform the structural validation of the role of GST in conferring resistance to insecticide in silico, and assess the impact of GST gene cluster expression and the contribution of GST3, GST4, and GST6 allelic variant in insecticide resistance. So, to achieve this, the mosquitoes were collected in Benin, in Uganda, in Malawi, and in Cameroon, and we use the susceptible last screen fang as control. We collect mosquitoes indoor between 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning. After, we perform a morphological identification under the microscope, and the molecular identification according to the molecular identification cocktail PCR for Kokoimoe and collaborator described in 2002 in order to make sure that the mosquitoes that we use for this study was really Anopheles funestus. In fact, after hearing a study design, after hearing the first generation of Anopheles funestus in the insectary, we exposed them to insecticide. Then transcriptional analysis were then performed after RNA extraction and sequencing. The cDNA from the mosquito was synthesized, cloned into the PJET vector to study the polymorphism survey, sent to the sequencing, and after we just analyze the sequencing in order to detect potential allelic variant of GST across African linked to insecticide resistance. Then to evaluate the role of allelic variant in resistance, we carry out structural characterization in silico through modeling and docking of GST3, GST4, and GST6, the allele that we detected. Then we perform the heterologous expression of this protein and the metabolic assay to see whether the GST that we express have ability to metabolize the insecticide, DDT, and pyrethroid or not. At the same time, we assess the contribution of GST expression to insecticide by performing RNAi silencing directly Anopheles funestus from field from Cameroon, collected in Mibelon, to study just to see if by reducing the expression of this gene we have just increase of susceptibility, and then to just study how the allelic variation can, independently of the rest of mosquito organism, play a role in insecticide resistance. We express those candidate allele in the Drosophila, and then we expose Drosophila to insecticide to see if the expression of this gene can increase the resistance to insecticide. This study design led us to a number of important results. Transcriptional profile of Anopheles funestus population across Africa revealed varying pattern of overexpression within the GST gene cluster compared to the susceptible mosquitoes found. And between 2015 and 2022, we observed that the GST, as we can see in this table, we have GST1, GST2, GST3, GST4, and GST7, that the genes are overexpressed. But we realized that the GST2 show a significant high overexpression compared to other GST in Ghana, in Cameroon, and also in Malawi also. To further access the role of those GST in resistance escalation in mosquitoes, expression level of this gene were compared in Malawi mosquito exposed to permethrin 1X, 5X, and 10X. This approach revealed that overexpression of GST1, GST2, GST4, GST4, GST6, as well as other GST families such as GST2, GST-D3, GST-D4, and GST-U3 with fault change ranging from 1.5 to 2.1. GST-8 and GST-2 were overexpressed when comparing mosquito-resistant to permethrin 5X and 1X. In addition, upon comparing mosquito-resistant to permethrin 10X and 5X, it was observed that the gene most involved were GST1, GST-D3, and GST-D4. Overall, the analysis reinforced the importance of the GST gene in adaptive response to insecticide pressure and provide insight into their contribution to resistant phenotype and resistance escalation across Africa. As supporting, then we just do the qPCR to confirm the RNA-seq result. And as supporting the RNA-seq observation evaluation of GST expression across Africa by qPCR show that GST are differently expressed across Africa. We have in Benin GST4, GST5, GST6 were the most expressed. In Uganda, GST6 was the most expressed. In Malawi, we have GST2 and GST6. And in Cameroon, we have GST2 and GST6 more expressed. We can also remark that globally, the expression level is high in DDT resistance mosquito than the control, showing that the GST are more involved in DDT resistant compared even to with permethrin. The H12 test of selection in order to see the selection or the differentiation of the GST locus using the individual whole genome sequencing data indicate that the Anopheles funestris GST locus in population from Ghana, Nigeria, and Benin was under cron-positive selection in 2014, but not in Cameroon. The peak, as we can with the GST locus of the selection is that directly centered on a cluster of 8 GST, the GST1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8. Among these, a point mutation in GST2, the L119F GST2, has been linked to DDT and pyrethroid resistance in Anopheles funestris. And no, we don't have work done in the other GST. We conducted a temporary FST genetic differentiation scan on chromosome 2L using a PulseSeq from 2022 sample to identify the current genetic factor driving resistance in Anopheles funestris across Africa. And we observed that no differentiation was observed across chromosomes between Benin 2004 versus Benin 2022, suggesting a consistent and similar pattern of selection and differentiation in Anopheles funestris from Benin over the time between 2014 and 2022, aligned with the selection observed with the whole genome sequencing data. Pairwise comparison of the Benin 2022 population to Cameroon, Ghana, Malawi, and Uganda 2002 population revealed a strong peak of divergence at the GST locus with a SST value ranking from 0.25 to 0.5, suggesting share or similar haplotype between this population. While the resistance associated with GST2 LL1 variant have been implicated as a key driver, it remains unclear whether this is the only genetic factor or if additional GST gene within the differentiated genomic region also contribute to resistance. Thus, we need the need for further investigation to clarify the role of other potential genetic factors in this locus. The study of the genetic diversity of this is a study of genetic diversity of GST3 gene to detect potential marker of resistance from this class. We investigate the presence of allelic variation by sequencing GST across Africa, and there we can observe that we have 3 mutation in the polymorphism. We have the G26G, We have the A817X present in Benin and fixed in Benin, and then present in Cameroon. We also have the T158 on Malawi, and also the phylogenetics screen show that we have a Benin and Cameroon as a resistance allele in white side, who is different, form a different clade with the Uganda, the Fang, and the Malawi. And as we can see in the phylogenetic screen, we have a resistant allele there, the haplotype 1, share in Cameroon and Benin. And this means that the whole of this mutation in the GST3 could be validated. The whole of this mutation in GST3 could validate and help to design simple DNA tools to crack this resistance, as it was the case with the L119F GST2 detected by Riveron in collaborator in 2014. For the GST4, it was found that Anopheles finestus sample from Benin, Cameroon, and Uganda are similar. However, 3 mutations were identified. The leucine to valine in position 135, histidine titulizine in position 181, fixed in Benin, in Cameroon, and in Uganda, and absent in Malawi and in a lab-susceptible crane farm, and also glutamato alanine in position 189, fixed in Malawi and in farm, but absent in other countries. Likewise, phylogenetic screen highlight a similarity between GST4 sequence from Benin, Cameroon, and Uganda compared to Malawi GST4 sequencing, which are highly polymorphic and form a separate clade. Concerning GST6, 4 amino acid changes were identified across Africa. 3 amino acids were identified. We have the A1690, the L174V, and the creatine 201 serine. And the phylogenetic screen show that GST sequence from Benin are different from those of Cameroon, Malawi, and Uganda, which are closer to the susceptible Laboueskin screen FANG. Following polymorphism analysis, the recombinant allele were further predict and functional validate to investigate their impact on insecticide resistance. And here we have the affinity between the GST and the DDT. To computationally predict the insecticide binding affinity of the various DDT, 3-dimensional homology model were constructed for the 6 alleles, the Benin GST3, the Malawi GST3, the Malawi GST4, the Benin GST4, the Benin GST6, and the Cameroon GST6. As far as the structural impact of the presence of the allelic variant of GST is concerned, in silico characterization showed that presence of the mutant increased the cavity of the enzyme, giving possibility to enzyme to dock better with the insecticide than the susceptible allele. In the first, the A and the B, there in the graph, you can see that the distance between the DDT and the Benin allele is small compared with the distance with the Malawi allele that we consider there as a susceptible allele. The Benin allele have more affinity with DDT than the susceptible allele. Also, we found that positive poles were obtained between DDT and Benin GST3, Malawi GST3, Benin GST4, and Benin GST6. Contrarily, for Malawi GST6 and Cameroon GST6, DDT dock unproductively away from the Cholese group. And this result is going the same way with the one of Shi and collaborator, showing that the 6Z1 of Anopheles gambier have a capacity to metabolize the DDT. For permethrin type 1 and type, for pyechoid type 1 and type 2, for permethrin first, Benin GST3 dock productively with the trans-methyl group oriented toward the Cholese group of glutathione at the distance of 5 angstrom, while the Malawi GST dock away from the C4 with the phenotype ring at the distance of 20 angstrom. For the GST4 and GST6, GST4 and GST dock unproductively away from the Thiolase group of the glutathione and the phenosic ring, suggesting a reduced affinity between the permicrin and the different model of GST analysis. With the deltamicrin, the type 2 pyrethroid, overall no productivity pose was obtained between deltamicrin and the GST. To access whether the GST can break down the insecticide, a recombinant protein of GST was synthesized in silico and put in contact with insecticide during 1 hour in the presence of the glutathione as cofactor. The result with DDT showed that the protein have ability to metabolize the DDT to DDE, as we can see there in the graph. We have for the Benin GST, we observe in the middle after metabolic assay that the level of DDT decrease in the middle, and we have the formation of the DDE, meaning that the Benin GST have the ability to break down the DDT to DDE, to break down the DDT to DDE. And as we observed there, we realized that the GST4 Malawi, Benin GST4 were able to decrease 3 times the DDT compared to the Malawi GST4. A reduction of the DDT and DDE formation with the Benin allele, as we can see, really show that this gene play a role in DDT elimination. And this result corrobore with those of Riveron and collaborator who in 2024 showed that the L119 GST2 showed that the resistant allele, the F119, the phenylalanine alanine 119 GST2 were able to metabolize 4 times more DDT than the susceptible allele, the L119F. Concerning the impact of allelic variation of GST on pyrethroid metabolic assay, we found that the presence of allelic variant in GST3 and GST6 Benin allele increased permicrin elimination compared to the susceptible Malawi GST3 and Cameroon GST6, for which we didn't even see a sign of elimination, permicrin elimination. For DDT elimination, we observed that the presence of allele variants increased DDT elimination for GST4, and we realized that we have a increased elimination with the Benin allele compared to the Malawi allele, showing that this play a role in elimination of pyrethroid, even if the level of the elimination percentage was low with deltamicrin compared to permicrin and DDT. Same result was obtained with the E114T GST in Anopheles gambier on the study of Mitchell and collaborator published in 2024. In order to study the role of each GST independently of the rest of mosquito gene, each GST allele was expressed in fruit fly using Galfoatin 2 system. And we can see in the map there, after expression of the gene in Drosophila, we just activate the gene expression using a crossing, and then the fly are exposed to insecticide. And as we can see there, we realize that comparing with the control for all the GST, the control is in the blue line. We realize that all the allele, the fly expressing our GST, were more resistant compared to the control in blue. Also, we realize that for GST4, the level of resistance were higher significantly higher with the Benin allele compared to the Malawi allele. Concerning the expression of the study of the expression, the transgenic expression of this gene in pyrethroid for permethrin, we observe that the expression of the gene in Drosophila increase the resistance to permethrin. And we also observe that compare Benin GST3 with Malawi GST3, the fly expressed in the Benin GST3 were more resistant compared to the Malawi. And this result was similar, just show a similar pattern to the work of Tani Njoko and collaborator published in 2024, who showed that a resistant allele of the fly expressing a resistant allele of Anopheles funestris 9K1 were more resistant than the fly expressing the susceptible fang allele. For the deltamethrin, same observation were made with the expression with the fly expressing the allelic variant were more resistant to deltamethrin with the fly expressing the GST more resistant than the control. But there we didn't see an increased mortality when compared the resistant and the susceptible allele. Also, to validate the role of those GST in conferring resistance to insecticide, we perform in vivo knockdown of each GST on Cameroon Anopheles funestris mosquitoes using RNAi interference. In fact, double-strand RNA was synthesized and injected to mosquito having a 3 to 4 day to 5 day. And after a 4-day post-injection, mosquito was exposed to DDT. And the results show that the exposure to DDT, the results show that the knockdown of GST2, GST3, GST4, and GST5, and also GST6 significantly increased susceptibility to DDT, as we can see in the figure, where the mortality for non-injected and the Concord GSP are really low than the mortality in the injected mosquitoes, meaning that the injection of this gene, the knockdown of this gene, reduce the resistance and increase the susceptibility to the mosquitoes. And no impact for DDT, we observe no impact for DDT for GST7 and GST8 injected mosquito compared to the control and the non-injected. These results show that besides GST2, as described by Yvonne collaborator, overexpression of other GST as GST2, GST3, GST4, GST5, and GST6 enzymes are also gravely resistant to DDT in Anopheles funestris. Similar results were obtained in Anopheles aegypti, where a Nungran collaborator showed that expression of GST, knockdown of GST increased the susceptibility. The result of permethrin showed that this is the result of permethrin after a knockdown, we exposed to permethrin, and the result showed that exposure, when compare mortality rate between non-injected and GST-injected mosquitoes, knockdown of GST2, GST3, GST4, and GST5 significantly increased susceptibility to permethrin, and we observe no impact with the mosquito injected with GST6, GST7, and GST8. And the exposure of the injected mosquitoes to deltamethrin show that knockdown of GST2, GST3, GST5, GST6, and GST7 significantly increased susceptibility to deltamethrin. And we observe no impact with GST4 there and GST8 concerning the deltamethrin. And this result, as I was saying, is going the same line with the one published by Nongran and collaborator in 2011, showing that GST 7 and GST 8 for IDES. When we just knock down the gene, the level of mortality increase, as we can just see in this slide. As a take-home message at the end of this presentation, of which the aim was to elucidate the genetic factor driving the upregulation of the GST epsilon gene cluster and to determine the role of GST in insecticide resistance in the major malaria vector Anopheles fenestus using functional characterization approach. From this study, we can conclude that polymorphism survey lead to the detection of candidate variant on benign GST3, benign GST4, and benign GST6 that could be useful to put in place a marker of metabolic resistance. The presence of allele variant on benign GST3, benign GST4, and benign GST6 increase affinity to DDT and to pyrethroid on Anopheles fenestus by adding the binding site cavity of the insecticide on the GST model. And then overexpression and the presence of allelic variation of GST contribute to the DDT and the pyrethroid insecticide resistance, as we can see with the RNAi and also with the transgenic expression in Drosophila. So I would like to conclude this by expressing my sincere gratitude to the institution listed here for their support. Then, so thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kouamouo. This was really well-paced and well-presented. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We've now reached time for Q&A. We have about 25 minutes to go, so please either type in the chat box or raise your hands, and I'll read them out to Dr. Kouamouo, or you can raise your hand and we'll allow you to speak. I see there's already about 9 questions in the Q&A from Loic Pradel, Kojom Foko, Dr. Foko. We'll read those out in a moment, but I also want to make sure that I give other people a chance. So please do raise your hand and type in the chat box. I will take the honor of being the host and ask the first question, which I think would be simple. Why and how did you choose your study sites? I think it's about 6 countries, if I'm not mistaken. I think one of them is Cameroon, there's Uganda as well. So how did you come about choosing those 6 sites for your study? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. The first observation who helped me to select the study site, because we use the 4 different parts of Africa. We have East Africa, West Africa, Central Africa. We just do it because first we wanted to try to have an overview of the different parts of Africa to see if we have a difference between different countries, and also because we focus on previous study. As I said, we focus on previous study done by the collaborator in 2014. Show that the level of expression of GST after doing microarray, it showed that the level of expression of GST were different, were not the same across Africa. And we just ask ourselves, what about the other GST? Because Riveron just focus after the microarray is just focused on the GST2 and on the allelic variant that he found on GST2. Why we now, when we come, we just ask ourselves, what about the other GST? Is it the other GST play a role or they didn't play a role? Is why we just selected those countries, and also knowing that in most of those countries we have insecticide resistance reported with a previous study. We just say that better to go where the resistance is reported and also have an overview on the different in the different part of a broad view on Africa at the same time.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Messimine. Interesting findings indeed as well. I will start reading out Dr. Pradel Foko's questions. I'll read 3 at first and give other people a chance. So the first one is a comment. The World Health Organization also mentioned the dramatic impact of COVID-19 in this resurgence of malaria. This was your first slide when you were talking about the stats of how many people are infected and dying from malaria. The question then is, how many mosquitoes between African countries did you use for RNA sequencing analysis?
Okay, for it get me. Okay, for this study, for the cDNA and that we sequence, we use the pool of, we just use a pool of 30 or 10 mosquitoes for the cDNA to study the diversity. We extract RNA for a pool of 10 mosquitoes. And for the RNA sequencing, it was 4 pool of 10 mosquitoes for each locality. And for the RNAi, it was 100 mosquitoes per gene in each locality and per insecticide that we compare.
Okay. And I'm going to read 2 questions for now. The next one is, how can you explain this varying geographical positive selection between countries? And the other question is, don't you think the FST values ranging from 0.25 to 0.50 are not high enough to reject hypothesis of shared or similar genotypes? Dr. Kouamouo?
Yes. Okay. I think that what can explain the difference between the diversity across Africa, I think that we can have maybe the gene flow. We can have the gene flow, and also as we know that the resistance is just moving, we can also, mosquitoes just to escape to the insecticide can develop several mechanisms of resistance. It's just why we try to study this. And concerning the question about the FST 0.2, and maybe, I don't know if maybe when presenting, I don't know if I made a mistake. When I said that they are not different, it was it was comparing the Benin. Benin is different with other countries. It was comparing the Benin because Benin compared with the Cameroon, the Ghana, and then the Uganda. Is why I said that for the Uganda, Cameroon, and other side, we really have we didn't see a difference. But compared with Benin, where we have this difference 2.25, really there is different. It's different. It cannot be the same. But it's just that from Cameroon, Uganda, and Ghana, it was the same. You cannot see any sign of differentiation.
Okay, thank you so much for those answers, Dr. Kouamouo. We have about 20 minutes to go. It's lovely to see familiar names in the attendees list. And I think I see 1 or 2 co-authors of this paper as well. So thank you so much for joining. You are all allowed to raise your hand, and we'll allow you to unmute and ask a question, or type in the Q&A or chat box as well. I will give it a second or so, and if not, I'll continue reading the questions from Dr. Forco, as there's about 5 more to go. So please do raise your hand. I encourage you to engage with Dr. Messimine, and she'll answer your questions. For now, I'll read the next question from Dr. Forco, and I'll read 2 instead. So the first one that I'll read is, what was your outgroup in the phylogenetic trees? And the second one is, have you performed complementary analyses to docking, for example, MD simulations or SMD? Those are the 2 questions. More questions coming from Dr. Forco. Dr. Kouamouo?
Please, I didn't get the question, please.
So the first one is, what was your outgroup in the phylogenetic trees? What was your outgroup in the phylogenetic trees? So that's the first one. And the second one is, have you performed complementary analyses to docking, for example, MD simulations or SMD?
No, for the docking, I didn't do all the insecticide for the docking. I focus myself on the docking of DST with permethrin, deltamethrin, and because my aim was to look the link between the pyrethroid DDT and then the DST, I just do the docking with the model where I attach the cofactor, the glutathione. I dock with the DDT, the permethrin, and then the deltamethrin. This was the Cree insecticide that I used. And then I also did I also look the interaction, the energy, the clash between them, and I put this detail on the paper because of the presentation. I just try to reduce, but the table can show us that even the energy and then I think that we really have the affinity, most affinity with DDT and other compared to the deltamicrene, where we didn't see really a sign of affinity. And now for the first question, it was about the phylogenetic tree. For the phylogenetic tree, I just try to compare the sequence that I got with for the different locality: Malawi, Cameroon, Benin, Uganda, and the susceptible lapse screen found. Because when doing the sequencing, I try to sequence I do the sequence with the sample for after cloning for these 5 different sites in order to see if I can have a difference, or I can have a how can I say, or I can have what to say in French, rapprochement, if, or just to see if the sequence are a cluster between those different locality. Because the first thing was to look at the amino acid change, and even by looking the amino acid change, I realized that the sequence of Cameroon and Benin, maybe, for example, for GST3, were more similar than compared with FAN and Benin. And now with the phylogenetic tree, I just got a confirmation that when we see the sequence for the clade of Benin and Cameroon, it was different from the one for FAN, Uganda, and Malawi.
Okay, thank you so much for those answers, Dr. Kwamu. I want to encourage other audience members to also engage. We have about 15 minutes to go before we finish today's General Club. But in the meantime, I'll finish off questions from Dr. Loic Pradel Kojomfoko. So the next question that I'll read out is, how did you evaluate permethrin elimination? I mean the method. And the next one is, on page 20 of your slide, statistical significance between groups appear at 12H as well as 24H. How can you explain no significance at times below 12 hours, I assume? So it's on slide 20, which I think you've gone to now. Yeah, so can you explain that and also go back to how did you evaluate the permethrin elimination? What method did you use? Thank you, Dr. Kwamu.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the question and for the really take time to really enjoy the presentation. For I will start with the fly. We observed that in 12 hours, I am in the slide 20. I don't know if you see the slide. I don't know. Okay. In this slide, we can see that for after 12 hours, maybe I will take an example of permethrin GST4. Permethrin GST4, we just realized that from 0 to 12 hours, I don't have any difference, any significant difference on the mortality between the control, the resistant, or even the susceptible allele. But after a 24 hour, we can started to see a difference, and a significant difference. As I said, when you expose Drosophila to insecticide, you can observe. It's even why it is better to record mortality after a different time point, because sometimes you can see that the mortality, we don't have a difference after 6 hours, but after 12 hours, we have a difference. And what I think maybe as a biochemist is that because fly is in contact with insecticide, maybe the fly died, and with the time, some of them started to develop a resistance. due to they develop a resistance, because even fly have their own mechanism of resistance, but we cannot take this as an explanation, because all those fly have the same background. The only difference between the Cree fly, maybe the Cree when I take a GST4, the 2 allele and the control, is the expression of the gene. It means that during the exposition, where you have as here, where you have the gene, the allele expressed, maybe with the time the fly try to metabolize insecticide, the fly tried to break down the insecticide. Maybe after 12 hours, the fly was not able to break down, but after 24 hours, the mortality just increased, and we can see the difference, and we can see really that we have a different ability to break down the insecticide between the control and then the Benin GST4, showing that the expression of this gene help really the fly to break down the insecticide in this moment. Sometimes also, as in the case of the permethrin GST6 that we have in the same slide, we realize that after 12 hours, the Benin GST6 metabolized the insecticide and then were more resistant. Same with after 24 hours, but after 6 hours, we didn't see any sign of any difference between the two, meaning that after, in this hour, between 0 and 6 hours, maybe the expression of this allele didn't really make a difference when comparing with the control, because all the fly have the same background. The only difference is the expression of the gene. I don't know if it's okay. Now, concerning I close it again. Okay, now concerning the first question, the permethrin, the metabolic assay with permethrin, what we did when we finished to express the protein, we put the protein in contact with permethrin. We just incubate the protein in contact with the permethrin, and then we put the cofactor because GST. To the reaction of GST to happen, we need the cofactor, the glutathione. We just put in contact with the glutathione, and then we let a moment to see if after 1 hour, in our case, for the permethrin, we use 2 hours. For the DDT, it was 1 hour. After the 2 hours, we just take the middle, and we go through the HPLC to see. We use HPLC technique to try to see what we have in the middle after the time that we let for metabolization. And then when we finish, we just look, and in our case, because we didn't do the metabolic assay to really see which product the permethrin were converted, because we didn't do the metabolic assay. We just see if in the middle we have the permethrin, because we use control. The control is the middle with permethrin and GST without the cofactor, and then the middle with the permethrin and the GST with the cofactor, knowing that without the cofactor, we cannot have a reaction. After we compare, if we have a decrease permethrin in the middle, because we know that if the permethrin decrease in the middle, it means that the permethrin is converted in something else. In the case of DDT, we clearly see the peak of the DDE formation, but in the case of permethrin, we focus more on the elimination, the reduction of the permethrin in the middle compared to the control. And then we also got some small peak that we were not able to identify, because even with the literature, even with the work done by a collaborator, we were not able to identify those peaks to see in which product this permethrin was converted. And we think that for the next study, we really need to go even in with the metabolomic, because with the mass spec, you can really identify those peaks. I think it's okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kouamouo. 2 last questions from Dr. Loic Pradel-Kojomofoco. The first one is, non-injected means control group. If so, what mortality is just 60%? And the last one is, have you found similar findings on pages 20 and 21 upon satisfying or stratifying per country? So non-injected means control group. If so, what mortality is just 60%? And then the last one is, have you found similar findings on pages 20 and 21, I think referring to the slides, upon stratifying per country? Dr. Kwamu?
Please, 20 and
20 and 21. So have you found similar findings on pages 20 and pages 21 upon stratifying as per country?
Okay, this is page 21. I just expect that you see the page. This is page 21.
Yeah.
And in this page 21, we realize that after 12 hours, I will take the example of beta-amycin, the GST3. After 12 hours, we have a significant difference, meaning the fly were more resistant. But after 24 hours, we didn't see a difference with comparing with the control, meaning that maybe after 12 hours, the expression of the gene or the gene variant really helped the fly to escape to the insecticide. But after 24 hours, the fly, we don't have a significant difference. But concerning the GST4, the beta-amycin GST4, we can see a difference even after 6, 12, and 44 hours with the benign, the resistant allele. And for GST6, we just see a difference between 12 and 24 hours, whether even after the 0 to 12 hours, we have no significant difference. It's why with the fly, we really do the time point. We try to take resistance in different points, because sometimes you can even put the fly, you knock down the fly, and after they start flying, meaning that they take time sometimes to just metabolize and develop strategy, or to really take time to escape to insecticide. Now, coming to the RNAi question, the question was, is it the non-injected, the control? Here we have two control. The first control is the non-injected, meaning that we take the mebelon population, we didn't inject, and the second control is the one injected with the GFP. GFP is the green fluorescence protein. The green fluorescence protein coming from medusa, nothing having with mosquitoes. These two, we injected GFP just to see if not the injection, if the injection himself is not a problem, because sometimes when injecting mosquito, you stress mosquitoes, and mosquitoes can die just because of the stress. It's why, or just even because of the maybe toxicity of the double strand. It's why for the RNAi, we need to have two control, the non-injected mosquito and the mosquito that you inject. To validate the result of the RNAi, we need to make sure that there is not significant difference between the GFP and the non-injected, because if you have a significant difference of GFP and non-injected, it means that the result is wrong and you need to repeat the result. You can't publish a result like that. Now, why we have the mortality around 16% with the non-injected and the GFP? It's just because in the normal population, Mebelon, Cameroon, these mosquitoes is resistant to DDT. This mosquitoes is resistant to permethrin, and this mosquito is resistant to the tamifrin. Now, when you inject it and then you expose, you have first the resistance. And sometimes, because you wanted to see an effect, you can even go to reduce the time of exposure or the insecticide concentration, because you wanted really to capture the difference between the non-injected and then the injected mosquitoes. The mortality there is just because the mosquitoes normally in the population have their own behavior with the insecticide. It means that our mosquitoes, in the condition that we use for this RNAi Bawase, they can escape to the insecticide. Mosquitoes are resistant normally. We use a normal field mosquitoes, Mebelon mosquitoes, with most the other with work done previously. It could be with Monji and collaborator, Menza and collaborator, Chak and collaborator. We realized that mosquito from Mebelon, they are resistant to insecticide. It's even why this mosquito was interesting for us, because we wanted to see if by taking a resistant population, we knock down the GSC, because knowing that these same mosquitoes can develop several types of resistant mechanism, maybe when, even if you take just the metabolic resistance, the same mosquitoes have Cispina A and B overexpressed. The same mosquitoes have 9K1 overexpressed. Now our question is, what is the role that the GST can play between in presence of all the other resistant mechanism? In this case, we take the mosquito, we just knock down the GST, and we try to see if those mosquitoes we can have a increased mortality. If you have an increased mortality, it just means that yes, those GST play a role, because in this same mosquito that you see in non-injected, you still have cytochrome P, the Cispina A and B overexpressed there, because we didn't knock down the Cispina A and B, meaning that those genes can be the Cispina A, because we know that we have it in Mibellum. This Cispina A can be the one driving this resistance that we observe in non-injected with other mosquitoes resistant mechanism.
Okay, thank you so much for that comprehensive answer, Dr. Kwamu. We have about 2 minutes before the hour, before we are done. Are there any burning questions from the audience before I let all of you go and see you in October? Going once, you can type in the chat box or you can raise your hand. Going twice. Okay. Dr. Kwamu, any last comments from you before I say goodbye to everyone?
It looks like
just to say thank you. Just to say thank you. Thank you for the participant, and thank you to Dr. I forgot the name for all these questions, and thank you.
Okay, he was really engaged. I'm quite impressed and happy for that. John, it was a comment from Dr. Folko saying, thank you for this presentation. There wasn't a question. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the September Journal Club, which went really well. Congratulations to Dr. Mesimin Kwamu. Really, this was fantastic. I'm quite also happy to see that in the audience we have our October Journal Club presenter, Dr. Muhammad Gaji, who's going to be presenting on a vector paper as well, which is quite recent. So looking forward to that. So kindly sign up to the Malaria Gen newsletter so that you can receive the announcement in time, so that you can sign up and you can join us on the 21st of October. Same time, same place. Thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your week and see you next month. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.